wasn't too sure how to hold her. There's this water, there's like drowning, you know, all those fears that go through your head.
You wake up at every little noise that they make. And
Yeah.
you're like, are they okay?
Something, and she'd be like, oh my God, what is this? It looks like a worm, you know.
You didn't notice that it was like gone from her belly button?
Well, not consciously, no, not just like. And I remember with both of my girls, I moved from the hospital to a birthing center, and that's when I had their first bath, because they don't do it at the hospital, right?
Yeah.
But so at the birthing center, she's like, it's time to have a bath, and I started to a little bit freak out just because I wasn't too sure. She was only a few days old, and I wasn't too sure how to hold her. There's this water, there's like drowning, you know, all those fears that go through your head where you like, oh my God, am I doing this right? Am I holding her? So they were really good in showing how to do it safely without, you know, accidentally let them slide into the water.
Baby baths, they're like big, and like compared to this little human,
Yeah.
it's like this is a big bath.
Yeah.
This baby could just slide in and just like float around, and like you just like your mind just like goes to the worst case scenario, and like I remember just like he didn't enjoy it either, so he was screaming, so I felt like crying, and like it was just like it's a really overwhelming experience.
Yeah.
So, like, I feel like that first bath when the midwife showed me, I feel like I didn't really learn much because I was like just focused on him, and just like I said, it was overwhelming. So your mind is just racing. It wasn't until we got home we actually had a smaller round bath, and that like I then was able to like sit him up properly and on my arm and like do it. But yeah, that first bath was not fun.
Another thing is the temperatures.
Yeah.
Right. So one of the other thing we didn't get beforehand was like
a thermometer.
Yeah.
To measure the water temperature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know. And at the hospital, at the birthing center, they were like, "I'll just do it like this, and it should be about this and this degrees." And I'm like, we need to go out and buy one.
Yeah.
We didn't have that.
Yeah.
You know, because you don't want to do it too cold because then they get cold. You don't want to do it too hot.
Yeah.
You know, all those fears. So, yeah.
And you think like the temperature that you normally have a bath in is okay, but actually for
It's
a
not
baby,
too hot.
it's so hot.
Yeah.
So like you're just scared of like burning them.
Yeah.
Or something. Oh,
Yeah.
It's crazy how the mind just goes to the worst case.
Right? Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys get told this as well. It's when they're up above. Isabel was born in the middle of winter, but we had a cloth placed over
Yeah.
the chest.
Yeah.
So you have a cloth placed over them to keep them warm and to keep the temperature kind of regulate throughout their body.
Yeah, that's actually a good tip. So, you know, keep your baby warm. Have like a wet, warm cloth on top of their upper body. So, Keep. Oh, and another thing. Crank the heat in the room up, perhaps, especially in the middle of the winter. That's another thing we did. We turned on the heater so the room is nice and warm. When you undress them so they're not, you know, and then you go into the water, or when you take them out, you know, like we had always the room prepared, room temperature up, water temperature good level, and then ready for baby to get undressed and then dress again afterwards.
Yeah, everything like laid out.
It's
just out, get dressed, you know, like dry, get dressed.
That's one thing. Be prepared for bath time. Have everything ready. It became a routine for us with bath time. It's you know, that would just be what we did before bed.
Yeah.
It was just a nice, and we end up, you know, making it a calm experience. So we'd have calm music playing. So we kind of mastered it after a little while.
Yeah.
We got there.
But it is scary. Like, don't like feel abnormal if you feel scared at that first bath. It's a scary experience. Yeah. Was there anything that like surprised you guys about having a newborn? Like,
well, it's funny because as I was pregnant, she had hiccups, right? And she continued with that as she was little. And that's just something I didn't expect. You know, like it sounds weird because every person, every human has hiccups at some point. But I remember my first one was born, and she was only like a few hours old, and she started hiccuping. So for me, that was a little bit surprising, although that shouldn't be a surprise. You know what I mean?
She's been doing it
for like
the last few months.
But you know, you kind of like have this little person and sleeping most of the time and feeding and all of that. Yeah, and they're so cute, you know.
Oh my gosh,
so
I remember those like noises that they used to make when they're newborns. I just like just reminded me of that, like all the noises, even when they're sleeping. They're like
they can be noisy sleepers.
Noisy sleepers.
Yeah.
That's something I wasn't expecting. I'm always like I thought that like the whole night she was awake.
Yeah.
She's not. She's just making all these noises
Yeah.
while they're
Yeah.
sleeping. I'm just reminding you those hiccup
Yeah.
noises for all the noises they would make when they're newborns.
Yeah,
And
so-
the feeding noises, like I loved those noises. Like I recorded a
Yeah.
video, like just to record the like noise that
Yeah.
he was making when he was feeding. It was so cute.
Yeah.
Oh, cute. Yeah. Oh, definitely the noises. Hey, I haven't experienced it myself, but I have heard from some moms they have really decided to move the baby out of their room because, you know, some moms decide to have baby within the same bedroom, you know, in their cot or whatever. And then, you know, after a certain time, they move it into their own room. But I do know of a friend and she's like, no, I couldn't handle it.
Yeah,
Just
there's
noisy sleepers.
I moved him out at 6 weeks.
Did you? Oh, was it too noisy?
It was so noisy. And it meant that like when I was asleep, I wasn't getting a good sleep.
Because you're conscious. As a mum, like surprisingly, you wake up at every little noise that they make. And you're like, are they okay?
Yeah.
I'm constantly like checking. So yeah, I can see.
Something really funny, like something that I also didn't expect because it was actually quite a funny moment. So you know how the umbilical cord dries out and falls off eventually, right? What is it, like 10-ish days?
Oh, it's actually, it's my daughter's one came up 2.5 weeks
Oh yeah.
after she was born.
Yeah, so I heard about that. And we didn't know, like we did know, but it didn't come to mind as my partner and I. So we took her nappy off to change her, and there was this little dried something, and she'd be like, "Oh my god, what is this? It looks like a worm, you know, like because it's all dry." And we actually put it on the windowsill and we took a photo and sent it to my midwife. And like, what is this? What is
And
it?
you
Something
didn't notice
unhealthy?
that it was like gone from her belly button?
Well, not consciously, no, not just like, because it was only a bit of it. It wasn't the whole thing. It was only a little bit and it looked really weird. And we just like, we took photos of it and sent it to my midwife. And she's like, it's fine, it's just part of the umbilical cord. We were like, oh, like I don't know, worms or something, you know, like, all those funny fears you all of a sudden have. So this piece of advice I'd like to share, and I've experienced that with both of my girls, is don't be afraid to ask for help. It's okay, and you don't need to know everything. Well, you probably won't know everything, so ask for help.
Yeah. The biggest piece of advice that I always tell new mums now as well is trust your gut. Like, I feel like you have this maternal instinct that comes into play when you become pregnant, when you've had your baby, and it tells you, just listen to that voice. Listen to that, you know, your gut instinct, your mum instinct.
Yeah.
I think one piece of advice that I often give is that there is so much literature out there about being a mum and having a baby, and it's great to read that sort of stuff, but at the end of the day, you're going to know your baby best, and you're going to learn about your baby once they're here, and it's okay not to know everything, like has been previously said, but you will get there and you will like know what to do.
Yeah. You definitely got this, Mama.
Yeah, you've got
Definitely.
this.
If you like this type of video, just make sure to comment below and let us know. Please also follow us on our social medias. Make sure to subscribe and push the bell button to get notified.